Hi, I'm Chris with Johnson Plastics Plus. Today I'm going to walk through an overview of UV LED printing, an overview of the Roland BD8 desktop printer, and we're going to demonstrate a print for you. While UV LED printing is not a new technology, it's becoming more and more accessible with printers like the BD8 printer joining the market, and with their convenient desktop size and approachable bed size. UV LED printing works by laying down a layer of ink on your blank substrate or material, and a UV LED lamp cures the ink to the surface of your material. So let's take a look at the BD8 and show you how it works. So now we're going to take a little bit closer look at the Roland BD8 printer and its parts and features. So first we have our cover, and this cover is important to keep down as it will block the UV light from hurting your eyes while the machine's running. So always make sure that's down when you're printing. We'll open it up here, take a look inside. So on the right side, we have this large black cover. This is where our print head is. And on the side of that is our UV LED light. This is the part that cures the ink as it's being laid down on your print. In the middle, we have our very approachable bed size, and it's in the A5 size printable area. Up top we have our inks. We have all of our colors, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. We have our white ink, and then one great feature about this printer is it has our primer ink built into it. And then on the left side we have a built-in air filter with UV ink. With all UV ink, it has a little bit of a smell to it, so as it's printing, this filter will be running and it'll filter out that smell so it doesn't smell up the room that you're working in. And then when you're working on the bed, you can actually take the front of the printer off like so that you can handle larger objects that you're going to print on a little bit easier, so you don't have to reach down into the printer to work on it. You can just simply work on the bed straight from the front. While we have the cover off, there are some storage brackets that you need to keep once you've set up the printer for the first time, and those conveniently store right here just under the cover, these blue components. And then finally, on the right side here, we have our waste ink tank, which will need to be changed periodically, and the machine and the software will tell you when that needs to be done. So one of the great benefits to the Roland system is how easy the maintenance is to do on the UV LED printer here. The software that comes with the printer tells you when you need to do your maintenance tasks and also gives you a tutorial on how to do the maintenance task it's asking for. And so there's automatic cleanings, and there's also manual cleanings. And so this printer will need a manual cleaning periodically, but again, they really built in almost completely automated way to do the manual cleaning. And the way that's done is once you go into the manual cleaning mode, there is a bracket that stores right down in the side here. Simply take that out, and the bracket will mount into these two holes here. There's little hooks. You just slide those in and hook them in, and you will take the little set screw and you'll put it into the hole that's in the bracket and just screw it into place like this. Then you will take your included cleaning fluid and this foam swab, dip it into the fluid and kind of dab it off so it's not dripping. You want it wet but not dripping. And you'll take your swab and mount it into the holder right here, and it'll click in place in the back, and the swab just hovers over top of a pad there. You click next on your software, and then the print head will then come over and clean itself with the pad that's mounted into the holder there. So once that's complete, you can take your swab out and you can hold on to it because there's a couple more things you're going to do after this stage, a couple more manual cleaning things under the print head here. So we'll set our swab aside, we'll remove our bracket, and the set screw stores right in the little hole there, and we'll just take our bracket and set it right back down into the side of the printer, and you're ready to move on to the next step. So the benefits of UV LED printing is that it allows you to print on almost any product or any kind of surface. and it lays down ink and cures it by a UV LED light. And the biggest thing you need to worry about is whether or not the ink adheres to your product or the surface that you're printing on. And here's a great example. This is a faux leather wrapped flask that we printed an emblem or a logo on, and we were able to print full color on a black background, and the result is a very vibrant and bright print result that is also very durable. So looking a little bit closer at these UV LED printed samples, one great thing you can do with the UV LED printing technology is print very high quality photography. And this is a great example showing a very high quality photo printed on this white keepsake box. And you can see just how well the details are shown, how smooth the finish is of the photograph. And this was printed just with color only, CMYK only, right on top of this box. And in this case, the white of the box is doing the work of the white ink that normally is printed on a colored object. Another example is a printing on acrylic, and this is printed on a glitter acrylic. And this would be like a table number you would use at a wedding, let's say. Again, using full color with white backing, you can get your nice opaque color printing over top of a transparent or translucent style substrate or material. So this example is an example of a printed name badge, just simply printed on a white blank name badge blank. And once it's printed, once it comes out of the printer, it's cured enough to touch. However, you do want to allow 24 hours for a full cure to expect full durability of the printed ink on your item. So that leads me to our sample project that we're going to print for you today. We're going to print a project on a golf ball, several golf balls. We're going to print a nice emblem, a nice logo straight onto the golf ball, and we'll show you how that works. So we're going to set up our job for printing our golf balls, and so we can take the front of the printer off to more easily access the printer bed and set up our jobs easier. So for this job, we created a jig. In this case, we used Romark Color Hues acrylic and cut out our jig that's the exact size of our bed, but the placement for the golf balls are within the printable area of our printer bed. And also we have these screws on here that are measured exactly to line up with some of the holes that are in the bed. So this will allow our jig to slightly elevate over top of our bed so that the golf balls can sit down in them but not roll around by touching the solid bed there. So we'll go ahead and place this onto the bed like so. And then we will simply take our golf balls and we'll set them down into the jig. And we will rotate them to a clear spot that we want to print. And we can make any adjustments we need here to get consistent print position of our graphic. And we can do that as we go. So now we're going to go set up our artwork for our golf ball printing job.
All right, so here's how our artwork imported and is currently shown in the job properties. Since we know how the template lays out on the bed, we actually want to rotate this. So we'll, under our layout tab, we'll select a different orientation here. And so now we can see that the artwork is placed exactly where we need it on the template, on the printer bed, so that the artwork prints exactly where we need it on the golf balls. So since we're printing on white golf balls, we don't really need to use the white ink. So we can simply send this job as it is, and it will print just CMYK full color with no primer and no white. However, if we do feel that we need to add primer, there's a simple way to do that in the program here. So if we go to the quality setting, we have the media type, which defaults to generic, and generic will give us the option to print CMYK, white with CMYK, or we can reverse the order with CMYK and white in that order, or we can print white only. We don't have any white elements in our artwork, so white in this case would not pick up. But but we're also not really interested in white for this job anyway. So we need to change our media type from generic to generic with primer. And with that, we have some other modes here where we have primer with CMYK, and then primer with white and color, primer, color and white, and then primer with white. So this means primer is going to go down first before anything else, and it kind of shows which order they're going to go in, which order each color or element, I guess, is printed in. So for this particular job, if we were to use primer, we'd want to use primer with CMYK, and this again is showing us that primer goes down first, CMYK prints on top of the primer. So also we need to tell VersaWorks where we want the primer to print as well. It's not enough just to turn on the mode. We actually need to specify where we want the primer to be printed. So there's a real easy way to do that in VersaWorks here. If we go down to the Special Color tab, up here where it says Special Color, our only option is primer. And then if we hit the Generate Special Color plate, we'll click that. And now you see there's like a kind of a green tinge that kind of went over our color here in our file. And this is VersaWorks saying that it acknowledges that there's color in these spaces and that we want primer underneath any color information in our graphic. So it automatically populates where primer is going to print based on where color information is in our artwork. So it's just as simple as that. And if we are good with these settings, we can hit OK, and the job will send to the printer, and we're good to go. So when we hit OK, we're ready to print, and we would just hit the print button down here, and it would send to the printer then.
Thanks for joining me today as we explored the Roland BD8 printer. As you can see, UV LED printing allows you to create endless projects limited only by your imagination. You can find out more about this printer and supplies at jpplus.com. Again, I'm Chris with Johnson Plastics Plus. Thanks for watching.